everybody, and welcome to the experience. We are live up front in our store today. It's been a hopping day, and everyone's excited for the new books to come in. I clearly did this thing at the bottom. It kept on warning me, sorry, you have to do it in under 50 characters, so I couldn't figure out how to make it work. Technology is always bad for me, which is funny because I do so much technological things. The good news is if you have Bean to do actual technical things in life, not me. All right, so we're here for Minute to Skim It, which is a long-running show that we've been doing that does really easy to follow reviews of books that are coming out this week. This one's going to be a weird week because most comic book stores in the country have had this problem this week that Marvel and DC made it to them, but nothing else. So we're going to have a really complete review of Marvel and DC today.
Deep dive.
Deep dive.
Yeah.
For every title. Pretty much. Did you read every DC?
Really not close? Quite, but it was close.
I think I read every Marvel that is releasing today. So you can actually have a really informed decision about what to put in your polls. This is a reminder that you should remember to connect with your local comic shop. You might be traveling, visiting family, and if so, stay safe. But you can always use a really easy tool called comicshoplocator.com and the zip code for wherever you are, and it'll pop up all the choices for you. Just know that the times might be different because it's the holidays and they might have changed their hours for the holidays. So give them a call before you head over and visit some new folks and see what their strength is for their comic shop. Did you have a bunch of other comic shops that you hung out in before this one?
I'll say that I got to this area and I moved here. I didn't go to a lot of the local ones around here because as soon as I walked into Space Cadets and saw that everything was already bagged and boarded on the shelf, I was like, this is my place. That's such a big thing for me. Like, I was actually a person that in the past, my previous LCSs had always just had them out raw on the shelf. And I would actually bring bags and boards with me in a bag, and I would bring them. And as soon as I purchased my books, I would go to my car and bag and board them and tape them safely in my car. So
yeah, we didn't start out 100% this way. We kind of worked our way into it. So I think when we first started, we just bagged. And because we live in Houston, things are pretty humid. So we noticed that there would be a little bit of sag happening on the rack. And so we're like, okay, well, we'll do bags and boards. Now it's gotten a little bit weird right now because of the shortage of everything. We're still trucking along, putting bags and boards on stuff for as long as we can. So that's neat to know that that is what attracted you to the LCS that you choose. So I hope you guys have all kinds of different ways that you choose yours, whether it's the staff is the coolest or there's that one person there that just speaks your language and knows the books that you want and just puts them magically in your box. It's always right every time. Whatever the reason is, or they're the best snacks, who knows? Whatever the reason is, let them know why you love them.
My LCS I was at for years out in Georgia. The thing that really stuck with me was that as soon as which was a very small shop, smaller town, and as soon as I walked in, the guy would just reach behind him because he just knew me. He knew exactly where my pull box is. He wouldn't even look. He would just pull out and just put it on the counter for me so I could come and get. No words exchanged, just that.
Seems like he's like the ancient mage, just
yes.
Magic.
Yes.
Reaches into some portal through space and time and comes out with the perfect books for you.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's awesome. I love that. All right, we're gonna do some of these, or at least one of them we both read. So let's start with that one because I think that probably was my favorite of this week, although there are a lot of really cool ones. My guesstimation for you guys is please don't miss this issue. It's a Swamp Thing issue, which you might be thinking to yourself, I don't know anything about Swamp Thing. This one is called Swamp Thing Green. Heck, we're gonna make it family friendly. But the thing that's cool about it is it's Jeff Lemire, Doug Mankey, and David Barron, which are an amazing combination of a creative team. And the thing that you need to know about him is that he protects the green. And that's not me making fun of green things. It literally is called the green in the universe. He's connected to John Constantine as a character. His first appearance, I think, was in a John Constantine, or John Constantine's first appearance was in his book. I think that's the way it goes. So those characters just have a link that's part of the DC universe that puts them together. And well, I think that's all you really need to know, because this kind of takes place, it feels like, in its own thing. There you go. Green AG double hockey sticks. So I set it up. I'll let you do the review, because
I only read the first part of this.
you
Because
read the
as
whole
soon
thing?
as I realized that you had read it, then I was like, oh well, I'll go do other things because you got it, and I'll read it on my own time. So reviews all you, Miss Jen.
Love. So Kyle says that he picked his LCS because it was like Cheers. Yep,
Nice.
that's what I always need. I definitely need that. So this story takes place in what looks like I don't know how far future, but it feels like near apocalyptic future, in which it appears that the ocean levels have all risen up, and so what is left of humanity either lives on ships or on very high mountainous peaks or whatever. So it feels very kind of like a dire situation. The book starts out with a father and a daughter fishing, and what they pull up in their nets is just a bunch of like trash, and that's kind of like when you realize that they're like disappointed because there's no food in it, and they really, that's their source of food, is whatever they can catch. So they're like, we'll just make do. So then you get to kind of like in the story meet the rest of humankind that is trying to, still maintain a society. And wherever there are good, positive parts of society, there also exists evil parts of society which are trying to take advantage of the people just trying to get along, right? So that's what the setup is for it. You get to, just like Lemire does always, he makes instantly a universe that you care about very much, even though you just met all those characters, right? So without giving too much away, the big confrontation between the bad elements of the humankind put everything into motion so that the more mystical parts of this universe, which are the green, which is kind of like the ruled by all things in nature. There's the red, and I can't remember the other one, but they all come together to make a decision about, and it's a huge decision in what regards to the human element of this. So I cannot give it a more high rating, even though I will be upfront and tell you I'm not normally a DC girl. I'm only a DC girl when someone writes something with character that makes me care about them deeply and is less about what's the next battle. So this one is, Lemire always writes for not what's the next battle, but what is the battle inside the human being or a superhero or whatever. Giant pile of green stuff that you're reading about. So the answer is yes, there is Swamp Thing in the Swamp Thing, but you won't see Swamp Thing for a while. So there you go. Highly recommend. A++.
I'm so excited to read it. Like I said, I did not get to read it because I just missed it this week, but I will definitely be reading it on my own time.
I'm glad I went back to the back room because it was on the back room table, but it had been put to the side and still had like the invoice on top of it or something. So I think that's why. I think it was something that Max put to the side, knowing that we'd be back there.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Since you were just talking about DC books that aren't just like battle to the next battle, I definitely think, Ms. Jen, when the trade comes out of the Human Target, you should.
I'm absolutely going to, because you keep on talking about it, and I keep looking at it like I should read that.
Yeah, this one is once again absolutely phenomenal. This is the Human Target book 3. Like I said, there's going to be 12 because the main character, the Human Target, only has 12 days left to live, and each book is another day as he's getting closer and closer to dying, and to getting to a point where he is trying to figure out who has killed him. He's literally trying to solve his own murder as he's dying. And in this one, which the last one, number 2, we got introduced to the character of Ice and kind of this sort of will they, won't they was kind of set up between Ice and the human target. And in this one begins with him being met by her ex-boyfriend, who is a lantern. So he has superpowers and he is not happy. But yeah, it's because of course the human target, his big, I don't even know if it would be a superpower. Like he's just very good at disguise and he's very good at sort of spycraft. So he has to sort of use those skills to like outsmart these superheroes and to try to get information because he's still trying to figure out who is the one who tried to kill Lex Luthor and inadvertently is killed him instead. And you see on the front, he goes to Booster Gold's new bagel shop that he's opening, Booster's Bagels, which it was just, oh my goodness. And I said,
there's some holes in this story.
Yeah. And he's like, it's not much, but he's like stolen stuff from back in time. Like he's gone and like stolen bagel ingredients from like ancient like Sumatra and places like that. Like he's like stolen all this stuff.
This could never
crazy.
Go wrong.
I know, exactly. This one was hilarious. The first 2 have been very like it was serious in places, but this one had a lot more comedic relief than the other 2 from the series. But yeah, that one is absolutely wonderful and beautiful artwork too.
Just so you are aware, Booster Gold likes to do time travel and almost always messes stuff up. He was single-handedly responsible for messing up Batman and Catwoman's wedding for a while, as he tried to give Bats a present of taking him back to his dad.
Oh my
just
goodness.
Like to his parents. Here, we'll get you back your parents for your wedding.
Here, let me, because I took a picture of the slogan that Booster Gold has for his bagel shop. It says, "Remember, like Booster says, if evil is near, never fear, just get a schmear."
Yes. Never fear, just get a schmear.
Yeah.
I like it. We need shirts. All right. Amazing Spider-Man is continuing on its weekly release schedule to get us through this cool story called Beyond, which is about an evil corporate, a corporation called Beyond Incorporated or something, in which they have purchased or taken or figured out that Peter Parker did not have the secured rights to the name Spider-Man. So they own it now. And even though Peter has been injured enough where he is now in the hospital, which the last issue was kind of like a encapsulated story that happened in the hospital only. Now we're back to seeing the overall world in which Ben Reilly's been running around as Spider-Man under the hire of this corporation. What are they up to? I'm not really sure. They still want him to fight crime, but it's, you know that it's got to be something that's up. This one looks very seriously at Peter's struggle with getting to a point where he can do physical therapy, which I love that his nurse gives him a total heck about. It's like, why are you being such a baby? But in reality, if you have anyone out there, raise your hand if you've ever done physical therapy and realize how hard it is to do physical therapy. It's not easy. And so it deals with that a little bit, and the fact that Peter's got some kind of like huge problem with his tingle sense. It's basically going inside instead and like giving him huge pain. It's not being helpful to him. So that storyline is really important and follows through in this book and has really big things that happen, specifically in terms of his Spidey sense and how he deals with it. So enjoy.
Ooh. Do you know how many more weeks that's going to be the Beyond storyline? Because I know it says chapter 9. I don't know how many.
No idea. It's a lot. I mean, I know they're trying to make it so that we're not in this storyline forever by making it a weekly, but
yeah,
it's a lot on a pocketbook, I will say.
Mm-hmm. Well, So one that announces that it will be going weekly starting, I think, next week is Batman Detective Comics. So this is Detective Comics number 1046. And I love the cover for this. The B cover is phenomenal too. But both of them are just Batman is beat up. It's rough. He has been through a lot. And this is Fear State Aftermath. So this is the very end of Fear State. He's gone through all sorts of heck, and in this one you see basically like it's kind of settling all of the characters into Batman is going to be leaving Gotham for a while.
What I was going to say.
He's going to be leaving Gotham for a while. And that's like kind of that's the thing is like people are like, well, where is he going? What do you mean he's leaving? It's literally
space?
Yeah, I mean, and they don't really say, and that's kind of like throughout it, people are like guessing like, oh, where is he going? Italy, kind of like the throwback to the movie and everything. And but in this one, pretty much he is just kind of getting everything settled, and it's really laying the groundwork for this new storyline they're going to be coming up with, which is, I think it's going to be called Shadows of the Bat, but it's going to be about the Arkham Tower that they've been building being completed, and kind of like, what is that? It's supposed to be like almost like a giant mental health facility for all the people of Gotham to try and treat crime at like a more base level to just get everybody healthier so they don't become villains, which is a nice idea. But you get kind of the vibes that maybe things aren't exactly what they seem, and it's definitely this is the comic where they're placing characters and they're having people say, okay, you're gonna go here and do this, you're gonna go here and do this. And nobody really knows what Batman is going to do, but he may not be around. But this is going to be going weekly for, I don't know how long, maybe like 2 months after this.
Okay.
So it was very good, though.
Adjust your pull boxes accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Death of Doctor Strange. This is number 4. And we finally get to actually who kills Doctor Strange. And to catch you up, Doctor Strange has been dead. He, in anticipation of this happening at some point, considering he is responsible for holding back all magic enemies to Earth, he says, well, he's going to make a Shadow Realm version of himself, or not a real him, but it's like a copy of himself that he hid in time that was supposed to come back and solve his own death should it occur. So that's what's been going on. So he's totally been a great kind of like, I feel like he should like hang out with Batman for a little bit. They're good at detecting together. He's been great. You have appearances of Bats, which is the ghost dog from the Donny Cates run. He's also trying to help him. The who it is will make all the sense for you, because at the beginning of this issue, he goes and confronts Mordo, which everybody thinks that it is. But, of course, it can't be that straightforward, can it? Ever. So enjoy Death of Doctor Strange. It is really great. It's crazy. This is the Car A cover, which is so beautiful. Sometimes the A's look like variants and aren't. But so good. Someone says, getting both A and B covers, artwork solid. And the Scars of the Bat is, the Scars of the Bat is what it should be called. I like that title.
Yes.
That is a good title.
Let's see. All right. I'm going to do Task Force Z, number 3.
I just noticed he's called himself He Who Remains.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. And, anybody who watches the show knows that this is one of my absolute faves that's coming out personally right now. So at the end of number 2, they find Deadshot's dead body, which was their goal, is that they were going to go get Deadshot's corpse and then go pump it with Lazarus resin and then have him on Task Force Z, which is made up of zombified Batman villains who are being led by the Red Hood. So who is
Okay.
also had been brought back with Lazarus resin. And in this one, we see more of where it gets into the details of exactly why they're like zombies, and the fact that some of these characters could actually, that are like fully zombified, if the guy running this like secret government organization was willing to give them a little more Lazarus resin, they could be normal again.
Wait.
And then they're just not. So
I guess it's Lazarus with resin. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting that like basically they're controlling the level of like zombification of these folks, just kind of themselves. And there's also this whole mystery that's been going on of like, who is Crispin, this guy that's running this whole organization that has this whole plan of like bringing back villains and like making them fight crime. And
sure, this isn't Waller.
What is it?
I feel like Waller would do this.
Well, it's not, and I'm no spoilers, but you get to find out a lot about who is right. And like there's a big reveal on the very last page. It's one of those where it's like, okay, that I'm mad, but that makes sense. So anyway, so it's really good. It's definitely like starts getting more into the whole conspiracy of like who is doing this and why. Mm-hmm. And you get to see the team in better shape than they have been. So
He Who Remains, it looks like you are a person that appreciates a good art cover.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite cover artist currently? I'm always interested to know what other people like. Maybe I can go hunt it down. All right, this is Devil's Reign #2, which it feels like it's been a while since Devil's Reign #1 came out, so you might have forgotten what happened to that book. I will hook you up. So it happens in continuity with what's going on in the universe right now, i.e. that Elektra is Daredevil currently. Although Matt Murdock has been released from prison. That's where he was and why she had to become who she is. But that's all been fixed up, so we're great. But this one is a very much a look at Kingpin and what his big plans are past being mayor, which is what he is right now. We've always known that he's up to something, but when is the other shoe going to drop kind of deal, right? So this is you're seeing in last issue that Tony kind of let it drop at the very end, in the middle of the book, that he was thinking about running against the Kingpin so that he could kind of wrest control away. And in this one, there's a direct confrontation in that regard and a change of plans. So this one is a really great look at a little bit of political, but it's mostly about the relationships of the heroes that are trying to prevent the Kingpin from having his way with everything. Hey, James!
And I've been really, speaking of like really cool covers, so that is the variant, because we already ran out of the main cover for that. But I've been really enjoying the Villain's Reign variants that have been showing up on other Marvel books, where they have the heroes as their villains. I've been loving those.
So cool.
Alrighty. So this is one. So I was a little nervous to do this one, but like said, we did not have a lot of options this week. So this is Teen Titans Academy #10. I have not been following this story. So, but it says the fall of Teen Titans Academy begins. So I thought maybe this is a good place to jump in. And I was a little confused, but I do feel like this is definitely, they're kicking off a new storyline. So if you've been curious or you're looking for another title to start picking up, this is definitely a place you could jump into, Teen Titans Academy. So in this one, basically what's happened is there is the academy where they're training Teen Titans. Literally, they're all these different teen versions of the superheroes that we know and love from DC. It's all the usual Teen Titan gang that we would see, plus a few extras in there, and who are at the academy. And basically, like I said, I have not read the earlier ones, but something crazy stuff has happened. And in this one, one character who has been kind of not necessarily in the background, but not understood to be that powerful, has suddenly discovered that he is the Antichrist. So
like the actual.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna wreck my day.
Yeah. So he discovers, so it's Dane, and he discovers that he is the Antichrist. And he wants to be called Nevermore now. It's sort of like a whole like awakening moment.
Dude.
And then him and Red X just had like a huge meltdown and actually killed somebody in a moment where, and the other Teen Titans aren't really understanding like why he did that. They think that maybe he's just like kind of gone bad. But he does explain sort of that why he did it and his motivations. But him and Nevermore are out there kind of separated from the Teen Titans and beginning this crazy epic battle against like literally like the forces from hell that are coming up now that he has like awakened as the Antichrist. But he's not evil. He doesn't want to be the Antichrist, but he has these powers. So it's very good. And like I said, even without following the story, I had a really good time reading this. So
I will have to say, I did not have these kind of problems in either high school or college. So their academy is a little more intense than I would like.
Yep.
How do you study if you're worried about the Antichrist?
I know. I think that's actually something that they're like, oh no, like maybe this shouldn't be an academy, you know, like people are rethinking their choices there. So
yeah, you're right. He Who Remains. There are a lot of first appearance fills in this week. Yes. I'm telling you right now. All right. This is an awesome book. This is timeless and really gets you to the heart of matter for Kang and all his different versions. So this is a good primer book for somebody who's their entire interaction with Kang. The character was his appearance as a Mortis in the Loki show, which a lot of people didn't even know that's what they were looking at in the Loki show. So the dude that shows up at the end that looks like he's just like hanging out at a desk and doing whatever he wants, that's Immortus, which is a form of Kang, who is also seen as Rama Tut in ancient history. So anyway, he can travel through time and do whatever he wants. He's a very godlike being, kind of like Apocalypse is, where it's just like there's nothing that bothers him. He is not motivated by things like wanting other beings to like him, or that they fear him or even think he's a god, or he's not. His only motivation is it a challenge. He likes things that are challenges no matter what. And in this book, he is found a specific human being that sometime in time was writing an article or a paper or something that intimates that Dr. Doom is the best of all the powerful beings. And he grabs him out of time and says, "You're hanging out with me, and I'm going to show you why that's not right." So, and it gets really twisted and stuff. And you definitely have like that character that he pulls out of time. That's their first appearance in the universe. So I think it's going to be more important than just a human that he pulls out of time. And it appears like there's some timelines. There's somebody in the timeline who has what's called a pirated timeline that they are trying to reattach to the main timeline, which is going to mess it all the way up. So there you go. You're going to let me finish? But Doom is the best of all time. The best of all time. Okay, fine. You can say that if you want to.
Best of all time. He's the best of all time.
Oh,
well, Kang will say no. Pinch your head.
So is this a one shot? Because that's a thick book. It is not your usual.
It leaves it like it should be more. Like there's like more to the story, but I don't know if it's a one shot, because Marvel is notorious for never calling anything a one shot, but calling it number one. But then there's nothing else to go with it. This one feels like either it's a lead in to something that's happening in the universe, like Timeless is going to be this period of times, like Marvel Point One or Incoming. Do you guys remember those books that ended up being real important to the universe? This is what this one kind of feels like to me. So I don't know. I would not skip getting this book.
Alrighty, what do I have next? Ooh. All right, like I said, continuing my DC deep dive. So this is DC versus vampires. Now this book is this whole series has been way deeper, I think, than, because when you hear DC versus vampires, you kind of first thing you think is,
Great.
we're gonna go punch some vampires. That's it, But this is this book is like psychological. It's much deeper than just punching vampires, because, and I'm going to do this where people who've read it know exactly what I'm talking about, but people who have not are not spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
A member of the Justice League is a vampire and is on the inside working for the vampires and is secretly trying to turn the rest of the Justice League into the vampires. So it's like, and in this one especially, it's like a member of the Justice League, not the one who's a vampire, has died, is fully dead. Like,
man.
And so now they're trying to solve a murder of a beloved Justice League character. And it really, as much, there are a few like fight scenes in this, but a lot of it is just because nobody knows who is a vampire. They know someone is a vampire.
So the idea that there are vampires that are like a mole in there, they know.
Yes. Yeah, they know that it's vampires. They figured that much out, actually, because a vampire basically went to the Justice League and was like, hey, this is what's going on. He basically defected and was like, we've got to, it's going to be really bad for everyone. But yeah, so there's just a lot of paranoia and a lot of trying to figure out who is a vampire and who is not, and who killed the superhero, and it's really good. Like I said, this one is surprising. If you're just looking for like slasher, like superhero action, this is not it. But if you're looking for something like deeper and like more psychological, this is a good one. DC versus vampires.
Secret surprise. Love
yes.
it. Okay. The last of my reads. I feel like I read so much more today.
Yeah, I've got one more after this that I was able to read.
All right. Wastelanders Star-Lord #1. Part of the Wastelanders series that's been going on. And as far as I can tell, it is exactly the way that the Darkhold series is running. It's Darkhold something, and it's in the Darkhold universe, the darkest possible version of something. Wastelanders doesn't feel like it's the darkest possible version of anything. Just like these characters thrown into a wasteland. So I've enjoyed them. This one pretty much is exploring Star-Lord's, like he's always got this kind of insecurity complex about people not appreciating him for who he is, or I'm not even remembering his name. He's got these problems. This one has him much later in life, and he comes across the Avengers headquarters or mansion, and it has been decimated, and he has no idea what's happened. So he's going to go find Kitty Pryde, who he's had a relationship with in the past and cares about very much. And then it goes down a really cool psychological rabbit hole, which I love. I like that stuff very much. So if you want to just have a look at characters, focus in on Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde and any other Avengers that might have been around, and how they look at this character, it's really, really cool. Pick it up.
All right. And James, he says
you're running out of short boxes.
Yeah. He says that he got the Guardians of the Galaxy gang. James, if you've been playing it already, let us know how it is, because I'm curious about that one.
Fancy.
All right. And now this week, since we were kind of short on comics, we were kind of looking around, and I grabbed this trade before Miss Jen could see it, because I wanted to read this so bad.
So the only way you would have seen this series is the local comic shop day release had a Friday #1, and I don't think they released any other issues for Friday. I think it just was meant to be an OGN, and here's the OGN. So
well, and it says on the back, Eisner winner for best digital comic. So I'm guessing maybe this was released digitally at some point, possibly. I'm not sure, but it's here in my hand. Also, I did buy the local comic shop day because it immediately just like screamed at me that this is something that I wanted to read. So this is Friday, book 1, the first day of Christmas, and this one is absolutely wonderful. They call it a post-YA novel or like story, and I absolutely, at first I was like, what the heck does that mean? I read it. Basically, this is not for kids. Like, it's not for kids. It's not necessarily for like young teens. Probably like older teens could really enjoy it. It does have some kind of like sexual themes and stuff in it that would not be okay for like younger kids. But it is basically like in this, Friday and her longtime best friend Lance basically have spent their entire childhoods growing up in this town that has all these like weird things going on in it, you know, and they have had all these adventures, and it really is like that part of it is like what you imagine for the young adult novels, where each one is like another summer break, and they've got to fight a new monster, and they've got to discover something, you know. But this one picks up where Friday, the main character, is going away to college, and she's been away at college for her first semester. Things with her and Lance got kind of weird and complicated right before she left. And a lot of the book explores that relationship between them of they've been friends for a long time, they've had all these adventures, but they're kind of exploring, are they going to do something more? At the same time, there's all this weird supernatural stuff going on. So
complicated.
It is really wonderful. I would definitely say that if you like reading young adult fiction, or if you have someone in your life that enjoys that, but is also okay with going to like a little bit edgier, this is like a perfect one to pick up, because it's like that perfect, like just past young adult. So this one was absolutely awesome. I'm so excited to read the rest of them when they come out.
So what's interesting is that Brubaker stuff, I'm usually thinking about, it's always crime noir. So does it still fit in that genre, or are they moving away from that for this book?
It is not. It is definitely solidly like a supernatural. It does have like mystery elements. I could definitely see that there's like, you know, there's like always talking about like solving something, and like they're trying to get to the bottom of what's going on in this town, but it's pretty firmly supernatural and romance. That's the two things that you're seeing. So and absolutely beautiful. The art is like perfect in that. I love it so much.
Then you grab for me. There is 2 posters over there, I think. And then our black and white versions. I do want to show everybody what is coming out so that they don't miss them.
Okay, and you said black and white?
Yeah, the black and white stuff we have down there that we're going to show. That's just the covers. They're just like the photocopies.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right, so as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, there is a great bunch of independents that we were unable to review today because they are part of now I just got notification that they're going to be delayed another 24 hours, so 36 hours back. So it's going to be after New Year's before you get your independent books, but we want you to have them on your list so you don't miss them, because there's some big ones. I also wanted to show you this awesome book from a series that they've been releasing. The first one that we got in was Be More Captain America. Then we got Be More Boba Fett, which was really awesome because it was like being an independent contractor.
Yeah.
And this one is Be More Loki, Alternative Thinking from the God of Mischief. Let me see if I can give you a quote from here. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the inside, but I'm going to read you an excerpt so you can get an idea of what these books are like. Making an impact. To be successful in this world, or any of the 9 realms, you need to stand out from the crowd. You can do this with personality and presence, or by wearing a giant pair of horns on your head, as Loki does. Loki knows how to get noticed, and it is a natural at standing out, usually because it isn't safe to stand near him. We mortals can learn a lot from the god of mischief. So there you go. It's really cute things. It's just like a $10 book that you can find if you're looking still for like some, I'm sorry, I forgot you on my Christmas list presents. Yep. You can totally grab that up. And there are some cool manga they're releasing this week you might be looking for. This is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Trinity and Tempest, number 5 releases this week. I did not get to read that one because it's a big, thick book.
And then we have My Next Life as a Villainess side story, On the Verge of Doom, Volume 1.
I think they're actually trying to make the longest name for a book so that it can't actually fit on the spine because, I mean, they're getting close to the part where it's like, how are you going to fit it on the edge anymore?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's cute. And then we're going to go back to the other edge. I know we're going to course correct, and there'll be books called, period.
Yeah. So what did you want to do with these?
I don't know. I'm just going to show them. Just like you show one, and then I'll show one, and we'll just put it back down in its order.
All right. So this is our solution for how we sell things that we don't actually have in the store yet. So this is going to be Alias Black and White from Antarctic Press.
Mm-hmm. So don't miss that.
Okay.
This one's a really hot book. I think it's actually been pre-sold out at distribution level, so make sure you get in contact with your LCS for it. They are already making a second print, so don't worry. This is Apache delivery service. Now, keep in mind, these are black and white copies of a cover, just so you can get an idea of what they look like.
That B cover, the skeleton.
And that is Matt Kent writing.
And we've got Battle Cats, number 5. And then, let's see here. Oh, you want to...
Ooh, I'm excited because Blue Flame number 6 is coming out from Vault Comics. This has been a really interesting look at a character who is a superhero, but this is not really a superhero book. It's mostly a look at how he deals with the pressure of fame and of being a superhero. It's a really great one.
And then we got The Box, number 3 is coming out.
Box is a great book. Catch you up on what that book is about. It's a really simple premise. There is a box that has the ability to give you things. You can ask it for those things, and it's supposed to give you what you ask it for if you possess it, but it doesn't always. It has a little bit of a mind of its own. The box cannot be stolen from you or taken. It can only be given to another person. So someone may, twist your arm and try to break it off and making you give it to them. In this case, it was previously owned by a mob boss who wants it back from our main character. So, Charlie's Spot. This is by Comics Experience Publishing. Looks like Charlie might be a homeless man. I'm just going to see. There's got to be something more about Charlie. It can't just be that.
Do you know anything about this one? I don't know very much about this one. We have number 2 and number 3 coming in. Verge.
Shoot. I read Verge number 1, and now I've forgotten what it's about. But it is by our friends at Red 5. That is what number 2 looks like. I think probably they came out at a regular pace. But for some reason, R2 and 3 are coming out at the same time. We love Red 5. They're actually a local publisher to us, and they make really great books.
And Daisy number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we had so many people that we had to order number 1 for, because this one was absolutely wonderful. It's one of my favorites.
That one's an Angel and Demon's Tale, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't get to read that. I think that Bean read that
and
one.
Biblical style angels,
The Tales of Exandria, a Critical Role tale, The Bright Queen. I read the number 1 of and liked it very much. We're up to issue 3 for that series.
And a new Dune series started, A Whisper of Caladan Seas. It's awesome. I'm slowly...
The other 2 series have been so good from Dune.
Alrighty. And then, I'm going to do this one. Echolands. Let's see, what number are we on now? Oh, I'm squinting. 5?
That's probably right. That sounds right to me. So Echolands is that
5.
cool series. Yeah. It's like the form is skinny and long and opens this way instead of this way.
So that's the way you would look at the cover. It has been absolutely gorgeous. They've been selling actually raw cuts as like variants because the artwork is so pretty. You want to see it before it gets the speech bubbles and everything.
Yeah.
There's also some that we could not find the covers for. So me and Jenna combined our efforts. That is a 1 in 1 million variant of The Great Gatsby #3 from Clover Press.
It's a 1 in 1. It's a 1 to 1. They said 1 in 1 million. There would have to be a million.
Yeah.
This one is a 1 of 1. Great Gatsby. That is by Clover Press.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then let's see, we've got Firefly #35 coming out from Boom.
Who's on the cover?
This man.
It's Wash. Very pretty.
All right.
From our friends at Antarctic Press, this is Horror Comics #7, and it looks like there is a storyline that is in this book that starts called Vampire Ninja Ono. It's part 1 of 2 or part half. It's hard to know from this cover, but that's what it says. So Vampire Ninja Ono. If you ever thought, what would it be like to have a vampire ninja? You will find out in this issue.
And something very special that I'm also, we weren't sure what it was going to look like. So we...
priceless. We can't sell that. We got to use it to sell things.
I figure we can do that where like whoever the sellout person, the person that gets the last one, which we actually are only getting one of these in. So somebody can have the special Draculina ash can. I did draw this. I know it's confusing because you might mistake this for the real cover. But
she's really thin. She needs to eat more food or blood or something.
This is so this is Draculina. So this is Vampirella's sister that they're going to be coming out with next February. Dynamite is going to be dropping a new series, so watch out for that ash can. Like I said, we're only getting one in, so I don't know how many other folks are getting.
And it is true. On our sales show that we do, we usually give away the whoever calls the last copy usually gets to have it for free, just as a thank you for putting up with the fact we have to have paper versions of things to sell them, so we don't have to make you wait until New Year's Day to claim things. All right, Ice Cream Man. This one is a really crazy looking one. This is issue 27. Here's your A cover, which has a dude that is a cockroach on a couch as an A cover, and then a girl who has a skull ice cream hat as the B, which looks really pretty.
And this is one that I really love. This is also from Comic Experience. This is Space Core, which we found out last time, which was like a crazy thing where like aliens attacked Earth and put everybody into concentration camps, and then this one guy from help from another alien, the Space Corps, who is like a group of aliens that comes around and helps people who've been in prison like that. And a young man from Earth decides to join up with them, and this is his story, and I loved it. I'm excited. #2 is coming out this week.
Consider buying books from the Comics Experience Publishing Group. If you look up comicexperience.com, they are actually a website that if you want to learn how to make comic books, they are like an online school. And out of that online school, they had a lot of talented teachers and people that attended. So that is what has happened. They've made comic books based on those interactions. So support them if you want to support young creators. Oh, yeah. Popstar Assassin by Behemoth #3 is going to be new this week, which is exactly what it sounds like.
All right. We had Star Wars Adventures from IDW. This is #13 coming out. Ooh, new Power Rangers series starting.
I have, the way I have understood it is that there's got to be something big that's happening in this issue, and the high ratio variants are like going through the roof. So I can't remember what's supposed to happen in this, but this is Power Rangers Universe #1 from Boom Universe. From the Boom Universe, they got good stuff coming. I love Power Rangers because of the Shattered Grid storyline that they did like 4 years ago now. Got me all suckered in.
You want to talk about that one? I'm looking for something.
Oh, perfect. Once in Future #23. Can you believe that Kieran Gillen's epic adventure has made it all the way to issue 23? I can. It's good stuff. I need to catch up. I'm actually about 20 issues behind right now.
Oh man, this one is from Behemoth, and this one, the title of this one is Instruction for Making a Proper Offering to Forgotten Gods, #1. Which the cover is like this. We don't have the physical comic for me to investigate, but I'm wondering if now they're doing a sideways comic.
You couldn't really, it couldn't be like that. It couldn't be like that. Maybe.
Maybe
It's also, its subtitle is the first part is, it's called Night Janik, which is funny. I'm glad that they in earliest solicitations for this, the Night Janik was really big, and this instruction for making a proper offering to Forgotten Gods was small. And I'm sure they got feedback that Night Janik sounds dumb. So sorry, Night Janik. Your name is cool and that's your name, but it's way cooler to have a super long name in your book, obviously, this time. And that is a Behemoth book.
I found the B cover for it, and it's this way. So big mystery as to what in the heck it's going to look like.
I think everyone should say the name of their character out loud at least 50 times before they use it.
Yeah. Where is our stray dogs?
That's all Stray Dogs.
This is
Stray Dogs.
Oh, this is the B cover. So we can talk about that one, but I don't know where
there's one underneath that other one too.
There is. That is the one in.
There you go.
That's the one in 50. I was looking for our A cover. I don't know where our A cover is.
I don't know.
All
right, well,
find it.
There are a bunch of Stray Dogs out there gonna happen. This is Stray Dogs Dog Days, which do not miss Stray Dogs this week. It'll be really sad, especially this one is the homage cover. It is the same Tony Fleece story that is part of that cool like serial killer thing, but this is its own standalone storyline. I'm not really sure. It says there's 6 all new thrilling Stray Dog tales that are part of this series. So
there's cover A. Found it.
Yeah. Killing it.
All right, we've got Vengeance of Vampirella at #25 from Dynamite.
Ooh.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I think the best thing that Dynamite did recently was give Christopher Priest access to writing Vampirella.
I know you read the #1 of that one.
Okay, this is Tangled River, #2. I have to go back and see if I can remember what Tangled River #1 was about.
I think it was one that you said it was about like a society where like reading and art, like people have just kind of given up on it.
I know, and you're not allowed. That's right. And this kid wants to read and learn things. They're like, absolutely not. That's a waste of your time. So anything that we would consider worthwhile, they do not. Mm-hmm. They just want you to like goof off and do dumb stuff. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to read that because I like the first one very much.
Ninjas and Robots, #12.
You said it wrong.
Oh, what is it?
Ninjas and Robots.
Ninjas and Robots. There is almost definitely butts in this book. So yeah.
Robots.
And Jenna said that the legs really bothered her and the knees. They don't bother me that much.
Wobbly.
Yeah, she's like, they did a squiggle for her knees. And I was like, well, maybe somebody has squiggle knees.
Looks a little dislocated, honestly, in that book.
It does.
All right, and no one left to fight. Ooh, the second series, #4. #4. Imagine this in all neon-y colors, because it does have definitely neon colors for its cover.
And I've got to catch up on May's book. I am a couple issues behind right now. I have them safely at home, which makes me complacent for reading. But
you did just do your finals for your master's.
For undergrad.
Oh, undergrad.
Not master's.
Not master's. I'm like, so you're going straight from undergrad to doctorate?
I'm going to try. We'll see.
I didn't know you could do that. Man, my whole world has just been shook. Marvel Action Classics Spider-Man 2-in-1 #4 has been released. These have been great books for if you have a kiddo in your life that really wants to get into the Marvel world. Even when they address characters like Venom, which is really not kid appropriate, they make it kid friendly when you see the IDW logo on them and in your kids section. Pick those up for your youngins.
All right, and our last one is from Behemoth, 9 Stones, #5.
So. And there are even more comic books that are being released in graphic novels. This is a lower item release week, especially given that half of it's not in stores yet. So be patient with your local comic shop. Please continue to support them. I know it feels really weird. It feels like it could be a skip week for you, but believe it or not, stores don't get a skip week on their bills.
Mhm.
So if you can, head in and just spend $5. It only takes a bunch of people spending $5 to totally keep the doors open for them. And they like to see you, because that's why they opened up a comic book store, because they like people to walk in and talk about comics with them. So thank you guys for showing up, Preston. I loved your energy today, and Bojingles, and the one above.
Yeah. Oh, is it He Who Remains?
No, He Who Remains. Sorry, the one above. It's totally a different character. I've messed all up now. My nerd cred is shattered. If anybody's watching, especially from Facebook, you can totally send me a direct message. I'm Jen King on Facebook, and I will send you a direct message back with all of the links to all the shows that we do, so you won't miss them, because we've got all kinds of crazy stuff coming up, like game shows and reality TV shows and all kinds of things that are going to be made just to entertain you. And hit the nerd button. I thank you for subscribing if you can, and hitting thumbs up and giving us hearts and all those kinds of things. Ring the bell wherever you're watching. It keeps us going, and we're super appreciative. We'll see you guys next week for another Minute to Skim It. I've been Miss Jen.
I'm Bean.
Bye, y'all.